Well, now to the son who has ripped off his elderly parents and his brothers, taking virtually everything they own. But the way he did it was all perfectly legal.
Couldn't believe it.
He's not my son anymore because of what he's doing. He can't be the same child.
Why are you leaving your parents to rot in a house that's falling apart around them?
You're right, Nadia.
It's the ultimate family betrayal.
I lie awake every night. I can't sleep.
A heartless and conniving scheme driven by the greed of a loved one. His name is Joseph Doyle, the baby son of this once happy family.
Why have you taken everything that they've worked hard for?
Oh, mate, he's beyond greedy.
See, he was always money hungry.
So money hungry, he was willing to take everything from his most vulnerable family members, his own parents, and do his brothers out of their rightful inheritance.
It's dominating their lives. Their health's going because of it.
It hurts more than what anybody could know.
John and Cecily Doyle are helplessly watching their home of over 60 years fall apart around them. Their dream was to set up their 4 sons for life by giving each a share of the property. Little did they realise their youngest son had his own secret plan, one that'd see his elderly parents and brothers left with nothing.
Regrettably, this sort of financial elder abuse by children happens way too often.
Please explain to us why you've ripped off your own family.
This is the home that I raised my 5 children in, and I thought I'd live here until I die.
Their treasured home has been passed down through the generations in John's family for more than 60 years.
It's just heartbreaking because they all got along so well.
Did you ever expect that your youngest brother was capable of doing this to your family?
No, we trusted him. We completely 100% trusted him.
Conrad, Rodney and Donald are Joseph's older brothers.
I can't sleep. I go to work and I struggle because it's so hard to focus on anything when what's been done to your parents.
Why have you ripped them off and taken everything, all their rightful inheritance?
Joseph Doyle is an accountant by trade. Using his financial expertise, the family claims he's deceived them by putting his elderly parents' $1 million property, business and a family trust loan entirely in his name without anyone realising it.
We trusted him, but with the research that the boys and I have done in the last few months, we found out that he never did anything the way we wanted it to.
The most troubling part, on paper, it appears it's all legal. We asked solicitor Brian Mitchell to explain how Joseph got away with it.
The company that controls the trust, even though at the start he and his brothers were all directors quietly behind the scenes, and no one seems to have picked up on this, he was the sole shareholder of that company.
John and Cecily's health issues mean they're incapable of taking care of the 100-acre property, so they decided to hand their assets to their 4 sons. It also allows the elderly couple to claim the pension. The assets were divided between the 4 sons, which included the family business, the property itself, and a trust loan of $360,000.
He volunteered to do the paperwork, and I stress that he volunteered.
What they didn't know was Joseph had an ulterior motive.
He's the only shareholder, and he passes a resolution quite validly removing all of the directors as directors other than himself. So he then is the sole director and therefore has sole control over the company.
Not only did Joseph vote out his own brothers as directors, he took himself off as shareholder and made his own company, Gerudo, the shareholder.
He's got a double-pronged approach to control of the trust, which on the face of things would have been a little bit hidden from everyone that isn't a lawyer.
When we confronted Joseph at his accounting firm in Toowoomba, he blatantly denied everything.
Why have you ripped them off and taken everything, all their rightful inheritance? Are you just waiting for your parents to die so you can take over their property?
That's ridiculous.
If we died, he'd hop in and push the other boys out.
John and Cecily can stay living in the home because they've signed a lifetime tenancy contract, but they're still being forced to fork out thousands of dollars for rates, despite Joseph taking over the family assets.
If he's the owner of everything, why isn't he paying the rates?
The $360,000 loan was meant to be used to fix John and Cecily's home that's falling apart, plus help build the homes of all 4 brothers.
We was all supposed to have houses here, have families here and all that. We're all working together and he's just destroyed all that.
Instead, they're now scraping together money for legal fees to potentially sue their own family member.
Why are you leaving your parents to rot in a house that's falling apart around them?
I want my parents to get as much as possible, but my brothers are stopping me.
Joseph has told us that it's your other sons who are trying to rip you off. What do you make of that?
That is complete rubbish. It's nothing like that.
The best advice I can give people is to get independent advice from a specialist.
We've interviewed your brothers. They're very upset about what you've done.
Our greatest fear is now that he's going to sell everything up.
Sell the whole property and just leave Mum and Dad to live on the street, really.
If you have a story like that in your family, please send us an email.